So here we are. We've got one season in the books, and this is the beginning of season 2. Today, we're going to talk about 2026 and what we see as far as trends go locally here, and then also maybe some things that we've noticed kind of building and things that we'd like to see continue in 2026 in the construction world here in Austin.
Tim,
Great.
You want to kick us off?
First, more and more electronic sophistication inside our homes. Resilient backup systems like batteries, solar, generators, lighting throughout the house, the level of lighting, the color of the lighting, the timing of the lighting, when it comes on, when it goes off, which groups of lights come on, go off together, all those things. As well as security, window shade controls, and of course, AV stuff. And that's even changing at a rapid rate in our industry. You know, how people listen to sound, music, how they watch and listen to streaming videos, or we have experts that help the team design those systems. So that not only the architectural plans, the engineering plans, but now the electronics plans are all integrated and sort of unified into some comprehensive understanding of what's going into the house. And so what that gives clients is a much more tangible way to interact with their home.
Mm-hmm. I think the word that you just used that really sort of summarizes it is the complexity of it. I mean, all of these things that you just mentioned, they've been around for, years and years now.
Right.
As they become more sophisticated, as the contractor installing those things, it has gotten more complicated, and the planning that's required. But I think the trend that we're sort of seeing is that it's more of a standard, at least in the houses that we build. It's not so much of an option as just the way things are. 2026, we're just going to continue to see more of that. And I'm curious to see, with the sort of onslaught of AI capability and integration into things, how that might look in the future with systems learning. I mean, there's already some of this, but systems learning the occupants' habits and lifestyle and making its own decisions about what kind of lighting you like and where you like your shades and things like that.
It's a reactive control instead of the owner having a tactile interaction with the systems where they have to tell it what to do. The system knows what to do based on time of day or who's moving around in the home, who's occupying the home, a lot of different things. But you're right. And like we talked about a lot of other things, it's also one of those things that will probably trickle down. We see it primarily in high-end custom homes, but more and more in sort of mainstream mid homes and even in some starter homes. There's some small level of more control that the clients have on all their electronics and electrical systems.
Going back to talking about it being more of a standard than an option, everything is, at least what I see, is moving towards that, not so much in your face like these big control panels or things like that, where it is a lot more just integrated into the home. And so the idea of living comfortably is having these options and stuff without really having to know that you have the options to change the light and do all that. It just kind of works.
Right.
And I think there's maybe something to be like explored with. I like the idea of some of this stuff, but some of it I feel very resistant toward. Like, I don't really like automated things, or I say I don't. There's probably tons of things I do like. But when it comes to, like, there's certain aspects of just like being able to at least what appears to be simply control things, and like the tactile feedback that you get from like flipping a switch. I think that there's going to be more of that in some of the future things, because I think a lot of people value aspects of the simplicity of what we once used.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it. Great point.
First one of the year.
First one of the year. Mark it down.
The industry, not just the electronics industry, but all industries need to have pushback. They need to have resistance to rapidly moving trends because it forces that industry to think through what works and what doesn't, what people will see value in and what they won't. And I think you're right that I think less is more, but there will be this natural evolution of what electronics and electrical systems in homes do.
Right.
Whether we give it a lot of pushback or resistance or not, we're not going back to toggle switches. We're probably not going back to incandescent bulbs. So there's a baseline of things that just make sense ecologically, make sense from a convenience standpoint, and don't really cost that much more money.
Right.
So those things are probably here to stay.
Yeah.
I don't know about the toggle.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious.
Yeah,
like,
I
I think
agree.
that there's something to that. And I think part of it is like the more we get used to these things, the convenience of certain systems and how they work, I think the less tolerance we have for like delays in things or things that feel like we're not actually controlling. I think there's something very satisfying about a toggle switch that I think that we're going to have to figure out how to integrate that satisfaction of a quick flip.
Totally. But
Yeah.
also make it look a lot nicer than it
Sure.
used to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Good.
Nice. Well, I think that's our first trend down. What's trend number 2 that we're going to talk about?
I would say a more general industry-wide trend, especially in our end of the market, that I think we're noticing is greater and greater demand for higher durability, better built, better performing homes because of a lot of economic pressure or industry pressure to make homes behave better and make them more valuable, make them create a greater living experience for clients, whether that's comfort, whether that's indoor air quality, a healthier environment. All those things can be contributed to by building a better house. And I know we talked about this a few minutes ago, but our industry guru, Joe Stiebrick, has said in the past, and I've quoted him by saying that the best thing we can do for the planet is to build homes that are durable enough that they last a long time. Because the worst thing we can do for the planet is to build homes that are shoddily built, that don't perform well, that end up being bulldozed in 30, 40, 50 years and sent to the landfill, and then you have to rinse and repeat. If we can build homes that are designed with class, right, something that has long-lasting architectural value, I think is what I mean by that, and have great enclosure details, great light, or have a healthy indoor environment, then those homes will be valuable to generation after generation, even if you have to tweak them by remodeling them or updating them periodically. Still, the house, the basic house itself, is a long-lasting, highly durable structure.
Yeah.
We're seeing a higher demand for that. And I think statistics and surveys show that younger generations of buyers seem to demand those things when they're out looking for homes.
Yeah. So you feel like that's a trend that has sort of began to grow in the previous years, but really is going to pick up speed in 2026.
Yeah.
I think that's right. I think generally speaking, in a lot of different industries, people are beginning to value quality
Yeah.
more than they did before. And I
Right.
think that just translates to their house as well. People are tired of having to fix and maintain things.
Right.
I think that really resonates too with designers and craftsmen to think that what you're working on is going to last. It just makes it so much more meaningful. I don't want what I'm working on to be trash in a few
know.
years.
No,
Yeah.
there is a phenomenon that we should touch on that's true across other industries as well. And think about it like this. So you could effectively build a very well-built home, but if you, in doing so, embed things that will become obsolete, that require substantial amount of demolition or reconfiguration to make them work, that's a bad plan. So you have to think through, let's take the Apple computer for the example, all right? Apple makes the best computer out there. It's from a manufacturing
hot
standpoint.
take.
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying as far as operational. I'm just saying the quality of the product, the way it's assembled and put together, is a very durable, high quality piece of manufacturing, right? Whether you like their operating system or not. However, as hard as they try, people still take computers that work really well and trade them in or get rid of them for a newer model because their embedded operational system becomes obsolete after 5 to 7 years. And it becomes hard for it to be upgraded or hard for it to run a newer operating or updated system. So those kinds of things we have to think about. It speaks to the electronic idea about doing these gadgetry things in our homes that don't have long-lasting lifespan, right? And I don't mean they're going to break in a short period of time. They just become obsolete because
Something way better out
something
there.
way better comes out, right?
Right.
So anyway, that's kind of my take on what I like to call the 100-year home.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
So 2026 is the year of the 100-year home. So in 2126,
That home will still be here.
that home will still be here, and we'll be building all new homes.
That's someone else's problem.
We'll be remodeling.
Okay, awesome. Well, I think kind of to that, my observation of trend is the high performance and air tightness that we have been building into our homes is going to become less, again, of an option or an upsell or a feature and more of a standard of how houses are built. And I think, obviously this changes market to market, but generally speaking, I do think that homes are being built better and people are expecting these higher quality things, not just in materials, but in building performance. That is the trend that I see happening, where it's like you're not having to try to upsell these features. People are expecting them, or instead of speaking to them in the sense that they are high performance, maybe you're speaking more to comfort, the health of the home.
Right.
Yeah.
I will say that I think code authorities will possibly be the driving force there, because even at the current updated code requirement, air infiltration requirements, it's still not what they want. They want it a much, much tighter home than is current code. And there's a lot of political pushback because theoretically it drives the cost of homes up. We need to figure out a way to do that without it driving the cost of homes up.
Yeah. I think also, comfort and health doesn't just speak to air quality, though. I mean, it's also all of the instances of people having issues with mold and a variety of other sort of health problems that have come from living in a home that has issues. And, the amount of information that is out there and broadly disseminated about people's experiences has made people more aware of those potential issues. And so people want healthier homes.
I kind of feel like, too, that a lot of clients are less, it's like they are hiring professionals to handle those things. And it's like, I don't really care what it is that you're doing to address it, but it should be addressed.
Yeah.
And the thing that we use to differentiate ourselves as builders should be something a couple steps down the like line from those things.
Right.
It's kind of like more about the impact than the mechanics of how.
Great point.
Because it's like kind of boring. I feel like that you're like, it's like we've all kind of been through this thing of like why we should build airtight. And
Right.
It's like, yeah, I get it. Let's move on to something. Like, let's keep going.
Yeah, exactly. Something else that's really exciting me about the trend that I've seen, and this, I know for a fact that this is specific to where we live in Austin, but it is also happening other places as well. Sadly, not everywhere, but that is really the mindset of a collaborative environment between design professionals and builders.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been building as long as you have, but in my 25 years of building, I've seen this progression. And historically, I have seen where there is a bit of a battle between the mentality of the builder and the design ideas of the architects or design professionals. And I feel like it is sort of slowly gone into more of a sitting on the same side of the table, working together to get things done. I think also too with that, there is this trend, mainly driven by perhaps social media and some other movements of craftsmanship, but builders really taking pride in what they're doing,
Yeah.
and the craft of it, which aligns with an architect's ideas of design and building something beautiful. And so that's the trend that I'm excited about sort of seeing move forward, is that real collaboration continuing between those two parties.
Yeah. In my mind, I'm thinking that a builder has two functions during the entire design and construction phase of a project. One, during design, we're a consultant. We are doing our best to react on behalf of the client and the architect and give them good quality information about the impact of all their design decisions. Because great architects want to design within the constraints that the client's vision has set out and can do that and do an amazing job, but they need it. They need the good information about what those things cost or whether they can be assembled correctly or whatever. And that's our job, right? Of course, during construction, it's our job to put together that vision and that design and do it as accurately and collaborate again with the people that have put it together, have designed it. I think there has been I'll say, dichotomy of that attitude in the past. And I'm hoping that builders are coming around to value high quality architect and working with high quality architects firms. The opportunities that we have to work with architects and clients early in a process have been highly successful.
Yeah, I think the word you just used, value, I think that really, to me, resonates with the attitude that I had seen historically, is that a lot of people in my position as the builder contractor have tended to not value the input or the work of the design professionals, and have given pushback based on that attitude. But like I said before, I think that is sort of going away. Because there is that, even going back to what we just said about living comfortably, like having a comfortable home that's healthy, a lot of that comfort is determined by the architect. Like how you experience the space is determined in a lot of ways by the architect or design professionals, not necessarily the contractor. And I think builders realize that.
Yeah. A lot of this seems like we're all realizing that it does take a team. It's a collaborative thing. And like for one person to be like the holder of all of that knowledge is just impossible with how complex things have become. And so finding people that you can work with and rely on for the other side of things and value is really valuable.
Yeah, valuable.
Yeah. Also, I hadn't thought about the idea that maybe social media and just being able to like capture process and like final product is probably really valuable to builders as a way to like showcase the craft of building.
Yeah, definitely.
That's cool.
Absolutely.
Two, I think, related things that really stand out and that have stood out over the last couple of years or few years that I am hoping to see more of going into 2026 are related, like craftsmanship or quality over quantity, and thinking about seeing a lot more natural materials and warmth and details. It feels like a lot of our projects are kind of moving that direction. And like, I definitely see a lot of that from designers that I look at their work and really appreciate. I feel like we kind of got sick of the like cold, sterile boxes without a lot of personality. It's like, I think we're starting to really appreciate the details that make something beautiful.
Yeah. I think speaking to that is that experience that people have in a room, and the textures and the materials, all of those things play into that. And like, you're right, there was this period where it was just like everything's white and it's square on the inside.
white oak only,
White oak
which is
only,
beautiful.
Which is beautiful.
But
yeah.
it feels like, I don't know, it feels like in years past, there's been a very clear, like, this is the cool wood species and these are the types of colors we're using. And it feels like I see a lot more variety now,
Yeah.
which is cool.
Yeah.
I like that. The other thing, and this is also related, is the desire to create, I think this kind of ties back with like building homes that last, is the desire to create classic and personal spaces. And so I feel like there seems to be, though maybe this is a trend in itself, less concern for trends. Like it feels to me like people are wanting, and maybe this is just myself, spaces that can like morph with us over time, and not where this is cool right now, I'm doing this, and in 10 years it's going to look like 10 years ago and I got to wipe everything clean and start fresh.
Yeah.
But it's more like, okay, what is going to patina and what is going to like wear well so that I can keep adding to it and refining and just tweaking. I don't know if you guys have noticed that at all, but I really feel like it may just be, you know, when you're like scrolling social media and you've curated your own version
Right.
of, it may just be that.
The echo chamber.
It's just my Instagram feed.
Yeah.
But I hope to see more of that, because I think that falls in line with the idea that we should build durably and that architecture is not like something to be thrown away.
Yeah. I think maybe this goes with what you're saying, but I have definitely noticed, at least with some of our current projects, that the clients are less concerned with trends and more interested in things that they like and that they value.
Yeah. Even just right before Christmas, we met with some clients who specifically said that they don't want to look back and see this as a home from this time. They would like it to feel a little bit more timeless.
Yeah.
You know, we had in the early and mid 90s this mass interest in Tuscan style homes. And I can
It's like
tell you,
Olive Garden.
as a remodeling contractor, as well as a home builder, de-Tuscanizing a house is virtually impossible. Those houses almost have to be taken down to the slab to change the...
Yeah.
Nobody likes that much anymore.
If you love it and you're really not truly being influenced by trend, but like that is it for you, then like go for it, I guess.
Yeah.
But you know, I don't know. That's a big philosophical discussion about how things are cyclical, and do they actually, is it a true cycle, or is it like things do cycle, but really when they come back around, they come back different. So we did a bunch of homes in the late 70s, early 80s that we call California Contemporary. Lots of cedar siding, lots of white stone, which kind of we're beginning to see again in a different way though.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Smoother siding, not rough sawn stone that's maybe a different pattern than it was at that point, and maybe a little variation in the color.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has to design and live in something they feel comfortable with, something they're proud of. There's a little subjectivity to what everybody likes, but there are some common threads in something that is timeless, that people do appreciate across a broad spectrum of tastes. And you as an architect have a lot better feel for what that is than I do, right? And
or at least I think I do.
Yeah, right. But I appreciate it. It's one of those things that I don't know it until I see it. You know it before you see it. I appreciate that, and I wish I had that talent. But it is a key component that we should encourage everyone to consider when they design a new home. Is something that's going to have long-lasting appreciation by a broad number of people. Even though it can be very personalized, and the spaces can be very intimate and multifunctional spaces and whatever. All those things are important, but ultimately not too trendy.
Yeah.
Right?
Although, going back to what you said at the beginning, all of that doesn't matter if it's not built with durability in mind. Otherwise, the house isn't going to be around anyway. So
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Do whatever trend you want.
Do whatever trend you want.
Disposable homes.
Can't last.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think let's wrap that up there. I would generally say that I'm excited about this season. We've got some good things coming. to this specifically, I would be curious to know what the listeners are thinking about as far as trends that they see in their areas, or things they'd like to see. So maybe if you're out there listening and you want to get in touch with us, let us know. What are the trends that you're seeing? That's it for another episode of Work in Process. Thanks for listening. If you've got a question, a topic suggestion, or want to start a project with us, send an email to hello@risingerbuild.com.
You can also find us on Instagram at risingerbuild_ATX or on YouTube by searching Risinger Build. We'd love to hear from you.